What do you actually believe? What do you have faith in? I think that for me, I have faith in whatever I'm willing to act on without seeing results. Hey, what's up? I'm Nick, and Future Nick owns a multi-$100 million business built on helping the next generation find their purpose, chase after their vocation, and scale their dreams. Current Nick is just putting in the reps to get there. Everything that I'm going to build rests on faith. I have spent many months, years actually, defining what type of business, what type of man I want to be, and what I'm called to do. I've spent a lot of time praying, a lot of time starting and failing businesses and chasing after a bunch of different jobs, mostly because I never felt fulfilled, I wasn't willing to put in the work, and I didn't actually clearly define my outcome. I also never included the Lord in all the decisions that I was making, and I never clearly defined the outcome, which for me is heaven. What does that look like here on earth? I don't know. That's why I spent tons of time praying and thinking and defining the foundation, so regardless of what I build and what I chase after, it's set on. Instead of making this whole idea abstract, I spent a lot of time trying to put in words these actionable things that I believe in, instead of just having them as amorphous, vague, and ethereal concepts that exist outside of myself. I've been using Facebook as kind of like a public journal for me to document, hammer out these thoughts, and really refine and distill the things that I believe. I made a post about faith to kind of launch this whole project off, so I'm going to read from that post. As a theological virtue, faith is a gift, one that the Catechism defines more richly than I ever could. But Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 gives it shape. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. The degree to which I believe something matters is the degree to which I'm willing to act as if it already does. I pray because I believe that God hears. How much I pray reflects on how much I value His attention. I train because I believe the body matters. How often I train reflects how much I value energy, endurance, and longevity. I waste time online because apparently I believe that nothing else deserves my focus. That part I would like to unbelieve, but the truth is, we do the things we think are worth doing. I believe Redwater is worth building, so I will act like it is, even when it's slow, when it's quiet, and when it's not seen, because I have faith in the destination, and that's enough to take the next step. Redwater is the word that I'm using to describe this vision, this community, this business that I have in mind. Faith is the foundation, and the three pillars of sovereignty, vocation, and community are the pillars that hold up the business. I will define those in other videos which are out now that you can go look at. Now, the reason I spent so many hours and days thinking about these concepts, these foundations and pillars, is because when a company has, or when an organization has words that they call their core values, but nobody actually defines them, you actually don't inspire or enact a difference or make any change because there's no action to be taken. So if faith is taking action despite not knowing the outcome, we have to have a clear way, a clear guide on taking action. Now, I know that the Catechism in the church and theologians talk about faith as a theological virtue, as a gift. What I'm talking about isn't diving into that territory too much, mostly because I'm not qualified. This is what faith means to me. It's what it means to Redwater. It is what it means in terms of action, in terms of things to do. I've chosen an outcome, and that outcome I've named Redwater. Now, all of the actions and the reps that I do now ladder up to that. And if they don't, I have to remove them. I did an inventory of where I spent my time recently, and once I discovered just how much time I was actually wasting on things like scrolling or sitting around or going to social events and being with certain people that I didn't put bluntly, I didn't really care to be around. Those actions indicate that I have faith in something other than my God, my relationship with my wife, and this project that I call Redwater. By taking the time to really define and really articulate how I view this word and what it means, it's really given me a mirror to look back on my own life and to label the things that I actually have faith in. because the actions that I take are measurable. The outcomes that those lead to must be the things that I have faith in. So by working backwards from the outcome, I have been able to reshape the actions that I take in my daily life, the thoughts that I have, the way that I pray, the way that I interact with people, who I say no to and who I say yes to. And I've discovered that it's a lot more saying no than it is saying yes. So right now there's 4 things that I will say yes to, and that is sleep, my wife, my job because I need to provide income, and Redwater. And if it doesn't fit into that on a day-to-day basis, it's really not worth it. It's not as important. And again, I say on a day-to-day basis because this is a day-to-day thing in this season that I exist in. That doesn't mean that I think this on a monthly basis, I can't see anybody, or on a monthly basis, I can't see family, or on a monthly basis, I can't go to these community events, because that would be absurd. Of course I could do that. But as far as I structure my day-to-day routine and my week-to-week routine, there's a lot that I need to say no to. And until we hit milestones and until I can free up time, that's kind of what we're working with. Because I've been able to define faith, and because I've been able to define what I want out of Redwater and what I feel called to do, what my vocation is, which there's a video on that, you should check it out. But those definitions have given me a structure to pursue something that the Lord wants me to pursue instead of just pursuing my own ambition. So the second half of this video was kind of a little bit of ramblings as I kind of flesh out maybe some examples of how I came to this conclusion and why I think that this is something that is important, and kind of my thoughts on it. This is going to be, like I said, the foundation. There are 3 pillars built into that foundation, and upon that foundation and the 3 pillars is what I'm building the entirety of my business, my relationship, and my life on. Because I feel that that's what He is calling me to do. And for now, I will take those actions with the faith that there is a righteous outcome worth chasing. If that changes, that will change. I don't think it will, but at least I don't think it will in terms of foundation and pillars. Maybe the way that that manifests and that is created will change along the way. But I think these pillars are solid. That's the foundation. If you want to check out the pillars, check out those other videos. If this resonated with you at all, you're probably one of us. So I encourage you to follow along, see what we're building, and join the community. Thanks for watching.